guess I'll take the lead on that. Millennial Campus is a designation that the state of North Carolina allows the public institutions to request that designation. And what that does is allow the institution more freedom and flexibility for industry, public-private partnerships, relationships with industry and such. So many of you are familiar with the Centennial campus on NC State's campus, which was in essence the first Millennial campus in North Carolina. And that allows industry to set up shop on the state campus and allow students to partner with industry to be embedded in some of the labs. It opens up a lot more flexibility. So I think it takes away some of the concerns that we have with other state laws, such as Umstead Act, and really allows us much more freedom for this kind of collaboration. The Millennial designation ECU is getting, our goal is not to set up a giant campus like Centennial. They've got 4 or 5 different designated areas on campus and across town that are being designated Millennial, and we'll either be able to build space where we can partner together. In the case of the medical campus, it's the entire health sciences campus. That includes the medical school, dental school, heart institute, allied health, the nursing school, that whole campus and space beyond, which we don't have buildings there, which will allow industry and university to partner together. So it's possible that we could have industry, we could have Bob or some of his other companies come and have a lab right next door to us.
I see. And where does the money for the bricks and mortar, the first model, or buildings around town, where does the money for the bricks and mortar come?
That's a really good question. It's my understanding it's bonds. It'll be bonds, and that, but we have to get the designation first, and before we can go out and get the bonds, and before we can bring the resources in. We've only just been approved for Millennial designation 1 week.
Wow.
Board of Governors last week, and
that's why I didn't have
in fact it was last Friday.
I don't feel so bad.
Yes.
I didn't know. It sounds very exciting.
It's got great. It's got great opportunity, and we do have some spaces identified to start to launch up. It was really interesting that even within 1 day of the approval of the Millennial designation, is companies were calling ECU, saying, "How can I partner with you?" So I think this is a huge opportunity for us to really launch more of these partnerships.
This may be a too technical question for the audience, but I'll throw it out there anyway. Will that change contractually the overhead costs that companies would pay? And you know the reason that I'm asking, because some places, I think more private universities, will give industry a discounted indirect cost rate, and as a public institution, you know, we can't really do that. But that's one of the things that we've run into, is that if they want the same thing done in 2 places, but one of them they only have to pay a 25% overhead cost, and the other they have to pay, say, 50 or 60%. That's one of the issues that I think that I've run into is, does the Millennial campus, will it still be the full kit and caboodle that they're going to have to pay for the NIH negotiated rate, if you will?
I'll just be honest, I don't know the answer to that question entirely. I know the Millennial Campus Act is a state act. What we charge in F&A, or indirect costs for those who aren't familiar with it, is a negotiated rate at the federal level. So it's a really good question. I can imagine that if industry is leasing space on ECU's campus, then what can happen with the F&A rate may be, there may be some flexibility. I don't know for certain. But if they're not leasing space on campus, you know, then I don't know that it will change. Good question, though.